Hi, my name is Mark O'Connor. Today, myself, Adam, Jade, and Caitlin will be conducting a presentation on system strength. It is our hope to give you a better understanding of system strength and how it helps an organization in HR. Okay. A strong HRM system is key to the success of an organization. It involves a clear, consistent, and ambiguous HRM messages about which behavior is expected and rewarded. A strong HRM system is characterized by a high distinctiveness, consistency, and consensus. System strength integrates the content of HRM, a specific set of HR practices, and the way HR messages are communicated throughout the organization by the HR department line managers. A distinctive HRM system means that organizational members perceive visible, understandable, and relevant HR practices, which are designed and administered by a high-status, high-credible HR function. In turn, organizational climate will display a significant association with employee attitudes and behavior. This occurs because a strong HRM system leads everyone to see the situation similarly. It provides clear expectations about rewards and incentives for the desired behaviors. Ultimately, this strong situation, in turn, leads to high operating profit. Yeah. System strength comes from the way in which information and practices are communicated. Poor practice and communication create low system strength. Good practices and communication create high system strength. The HRM system needs to be perceived as consistent. HR policy should be implemented as intended and should be consistent. System strength. System strength helps to motivate employees to increase operating profit. A strong HRM system results in shared understanding of what is expected and rewarded in an organization. HRM processes should send signals to employees that convince them to form a collective sense of what is expected. If HRM processes succeed in this objective, a strong HRM system is created, which should positively impact employees.
So the objective for today is the general understanding of human resource management. To get an understanding of system strength, we'll get to see what makes a good or a bad system strength and its linked to performance, how system strength adds value and implementing system strength, and also system strength within a business context. So human resource management. So human resource management is a strategic approach to managing people in an organization. It's the most important management in an organization. It's a department of business that does the hiring, the firing, and the management of staff. So basically the whole process goes from anywhere between job analysis, job description, up to staffing, development, compensation, safety and welfare of staff, and all the way to labour relations. The main goal of human resource manager is to get the best staff for an organisation, get the right staff at the right time for the right needs. HRM focuses on people within the firm, and it acts as a bridge between the company and the employees to facilitate a relationship. It's simply just managing people in the organisation. A company is only as good as its employees, so HR is essential to get the best employees for the company. There are four main objectives for human resource management. This is social, organizational, functional, and personal. The social objective is, its aim is to meet ethical and social needs for the organization. This is like pay, equal opportunities, wages. And the second objective is organizational. This is for organizations to strive for efficiency. This is efficiency anywhere between the hiring, the firing, the training, and the retention. The functional objective is that the organisation should focus on all the HR resources and it's allocated in such a way that it will reach its full potential. The personnel is that it seeks to support the personal goals of the employees. This could be great education, this could be training, this could be development. So human resource is really important within a company. It's just solely the management of people. So this goes anywhere from like staffing and staff retention. So staffing is getting the right staff at the right time to meet the right needs. Staff retention is keeping staff within the company. The less labour turnover, the better for an organisation. Work conditions are very important all over. It will increase the morale of a company, like bad conditions, bad productivity, wages and salaries. Like you need to make sure the wages and salaries suit what you want from an organisation. Training, you need to train and develop your staff to like a high standard. The organisation needs a high standard of employees, need high standard training. Like human resource management is just a key to a successful workforce, like overall. So system strength. So there's three main aspects of system strength. This is consistency, distinctness, and consensus. When a company score high in all these three, the system strength will be strong, and therefore an overall benefit to the organisation.
Hey lads, today I'm going to explain what system strength is. A lot of the work on system strength can be attributed to Bowen and Ostrov. System strength comes from the way in which information, including human resource policies and procedures and practices, are communicated throughout the organisation. When the HRM system is perceived as high in distinctiveness, consistency and consensus, it will create a strong situation. In a strong situation, variability among employees' perceptions of the meaning of the situation will be small and will reflect a common desired content. In turn, the organisational climate will display a significant association with employees' attitudes and behaviours. The organisational climate refers to the way in which employees perceive the organisation's work environment. This could also be called the psychological atmosphere of the workplace environment. So because of a strong HRM system, it leads everyone to see the situation similarly. It provides clear expectations about rewards and incentives for the desired behaviours. And then ultimately, you could say this strong situation leads to a high organisational performance. System strength helps to motivate employees and gain the maximum organisational performance. A strong HRM system results in shared understandings about which behaviour is expected and rewarded in the organisation. HRM processes should send signals to employees that convince them to form a collective sense of what is expected. Poor practice and communication create low system strength, whereas good practice and communication create a high system strength. Bowen and Ostrov, who are acclaimed for their research on the HRM process system strength, claim that there are 9 meta-features of HRM system strength. Distinctiveness refers to a HRM system being visible, understandable, legitimate, and relevant to employees' goals. When the HRM process clearly captures attention, employees are more likely to attribute HRM messages to a purposeful management. There are 4 meta-features under distinctiveness. So visibility is number 1. HRM practices are salient and readily observable throughout the employee's work routines. Number 2 is understandability. HRM practices are very clear and comprehensive to the employees. Number 3, legitimacy of authority. HRM professionals are involved in the strategic planning process, and also the status and the credibility of the HRM function is high. Number 4 is relevance. HRM practices are aligned with both individual and organizational goals. Under consistency, there are 3 meta features. Consistency refers to the features of a HRM system being internally aligned. When HRM practices are perceived as high in consistency, they will reinforce one another synergistically and are more likely to be viewed as a causal bundle having distinctive effects ultimately attributable to management. Consistency relates to the consistency of the HRM message throughout the organization. So number 5 is instrumentality. The HRM system ensures adequate incentives for performance of the desired behavioral pattern of the employees, and also HRM staff and line managers have the resources and power to link outcomes to behavior or performance of the employees. Number 6, validity. HRM practices display consistency between what employees purport to do and what they actually do. Report is like what the employees appear to be doing, or that appear to be doing something false. Number 7 is a consistent HRM messages. Goals and values are adequately communicated to employees and they believe and internalize this message. HRM system is designed with practices that complement one another and fit together as a whole in achieving organizational goals. An agreement among employees as to what is expected of them and what they expect of the organization in return is high. So consensus of the HRM practices of the HRM system. There are 2 meta features under consensus. Consensus refers to the extent to which there is agreement among policymakers, e.g. HR and line managers, in the way HRM practices are implemented. When HRM policy implementation, including procedures, are seen as highly consensual among decision makers, employees are more likely to agree that these originate from management. Number 8, agreement among principal HRM decision makers. Agreement regarding HRM practices and policies among the principal HRM decision makers is high. 9, fairness. HRM system is concerned with the fair allocation of rewards among the employees. The organization considers employees' IDs in designing a performance appraisal system, and the organization discusses the reasons behind decisions and the distribution of outcomes with employees openly and respectfully. Relationship to HR strategy and organizational strategy. The Bowen and Ostroff article, The Role of the Strength of the HRM System, explains how HRM practices lead to greater performance of the organization. In recent years, a growing body of researchers and scholars have focused on the relationship between HRM practices and organizational performance. The presence of HRM practices and procedures does not say anything about the information sent to employees or the way HRM practices are experienced by employees in the organization. As John Trehy stresses enough, this isn't always a straight line and the system is not always effective, as there can be a gap between intention, implementation, and perception. Bowen and Ostroff have criticised this focus on the content of the HRM system and say that the HRM processes should be taken into consideration. They dispute that the contribution of HRM to organizational performance is determined not only by the presence of HRM practices, but also by the features of the HRM process.
So how can human resources add value to system strength? Human resources can add value with the strategies they use to manage workers. HR can add value to the organization by how they manage employees within the firm. HR motivates workers to perform at the highest level possible while maintaining an organizational culture with high morale. HRM systems are HRM practices that are initiated to complement each other when pursuing organizational goals. Human resources can add value by ensuring there is a strong system in place. Bowen and Ostroff argued that the contribution of HRM to organizational performance is determined not only by the choice of HR practices, but also by the features of HRM processes. These HRM processes should send signals to employees that convince them to form a collective sense of what is expected. Bowen and Ostroff argued that strong HRMs lead to strong organizational climates by sending consistent messages to employees about which behaviors are expected of them and are valued by the organization. If HRM processes succeed in this objective, a strong HRM system is created. This facilitates the relationships between HR practices, employees' attitudes, and individual performance, which also contributes to organizational performance as well. When the HRM system is weak, But people can create their own version of HRM practices, which will guide their own behavior, resulting in larger variability in their outcome. Due to the uncertainty and riskiness created, employees will create their own interpretation, which is different to what was intended by management. So how can HR ensure there's a strong system in place? The role of middle and line managers is very important in translating an effective, strong HR system to employees and how it contributes to the achievement of business goals and improved organizational performance. The CEO is crucial in providing HR legitimacy, leadership, and resources that create a distinctive HR system. Senior management constantly need to translate HR messages throughout the management hierarchy and provide lower level managers with formal and informal direction, support, and empowerment to operationalize HR strategy. HR should implement a high performance work system in place to result in high employee performance, which will add value to organizational performance as well. This can be achieved by having a distinctive high performance work system where management provide clear communication to the employee. This can be achieved where the system needs to be consistent, where policies and practices should be consistent internally. Top management and line management and HR employees should be involved in the effective implementation of HR, and there should be a consensus amongst everyone. This is needed to create a strong high-performance work system. HR should ensure that the necessary training is provided to management at all levels of the organization, and this can enhance their dual responsibility as operational managers as well as people managers as well. HR can provide selective training and development to employees, and they can also offer reward management as a way of implementing a high performance work system. This can be done by offering employees promotion, incentives, etc. They can also put in place performance appraisal for employees, which can improve their performance by meeting targets and assessing their performance, which will in turn will lead to better organizational performance. Understanding the concept of the business is very important because senior managers need to know the factors that may impact the process and practices that make up the system of the business and how it makes it strong. There are external and internal factors which affect the system. External factors include factors outside the business's control, such as a pestle analysis, such as political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. Internal factors that happen inside the business, which is in their control, may include resources such as HRM, finance, employees, and even employee relationships with management, and many more. So what value can having a strong system bring? This business concept affects the strength of the system within the organization because the system wants to achieve competitive advantage for the organization through its configuration of resources within a challenging environment to meet the needs of markets and fulfill stakeholder expectations. A business consists of visions, missions, values, goals, plans, and objectives. A business model can create value by reflecting the relationship that it takes between systems to create value, which is a product or service developed by the organization. Having a business model can give a company competitive advantage. For example, the organization may have found a supply chain that reaches a broader audience of customers than its competitors, which gives them an increased market share over their competitors, which gives them a competitive advantage. External factors management do not have control over. However, internal factors they do have control over, such as things like HRM ensuring management establish a good relationship with their employees. Good wages are in place for employees. Having good physical assets such as plant machinery and good up-to-date equipment and technology can all contribute to having a strong HRM system in place. HR strategies which can then be created from this and can help create a company's mission statement, create values, and create a company's vision. These policies can then be implemented by line organizations, which in turn can create a good employer-employee relationship. This can then result in employees having a positive attitude in the workplace, which can contribute to performance, which can produce outcomes such as good quality products or good customer service, which can also contribute to organizational performance. Therefore, the business concept has a huge impact on how the system will perform within the business.
So now I'm just going to show you a video of what we felt just wraps up this whole presentation.
My passion for human resources, I think it began when I was 19. I'm a bit odd in that I found my passion so early in my life. It was a journey of discovery. What am I passionate about? People, business, growth, change, and impact. And my uncle told me that HR is responsible for about 80% of a company's operational expense, and that is hiring talent, paying for the talent, enabling you to be productive and engaged, and realizing your potential, and I fell in love. My favorite aspect of ServiceNow, I think, is the ability to influence the employee experience. Our purpose is to make the world of work better for people, for all of us, and being able to bring the consumer mindset into the business world and making your work experience delightful is something I am very passionate about. It is about the smiles and the energy you feel in the hallway. It's about the engagement of our employees, realizing their potential and making relationships and having an incredible impact on the company and therefore the world. When you do that, you unlock superpowers and you create an enduring company. When you create a people-first culture, think about the differences in every human being. Diversity is everything that makes you and I unique, the seen and the unseen, and it's the unseen that is so incredibly complex and beautiful. And what human beings want at work is to belong, and they want to be their authentic selves at work. They don't want to mask who they are. And sometimes we strive to fit in, to mask, to look like or act like my team or my manager. And really, that sense of belonging is being authentically you, uniquely you, so your real voice comes out and it's heard and it's sought and it's celebrated. That sense of belonging creates healthy, amazing companies. Millennials to me are one of the greatest gifts to the workforce because they are constantly curious. They seek to have an impact both at home, at work. They just blend this amazing work life into my space. They reverse mentor me, and if you listen carefully, you can create amazing experiences and become better as a leader. I think millennials will challenge my creativity and my patience sometimes. I have a few of them at home, but I appreciate their curiosity, I appreciate their passion, and they make me a better me. You can job hop in your career. I think that millennials have this perception of job hopping more than other generations, and some of the data I've seen doesn't hold that to be true. I think what they want is to be challenged every couple of years, every 3 years. And if an employer harnesses that talent, they can create that next evolution of opportunity within their own walls. You don't have to leave to continue to grow and change. I do believe that changing or hopping is something that creates better skills, learning agility, improves your creativity and your confidence because you continually challenge yourself and learn, and I think that's a great thing. Being an introvert was something I didn't share often, and it wasn't until I was in my prior company at LinkedIn that I shared that I was an introvert, and they asked me, "You don't seem like one, how does that work?" And I had this wonderful opportunity to explain that it doesn't mean I'm shy. I love to teach, I love to guide, I love to help shape people's thinking, and so I will give my energy, but I need time by myself in my head to think things through, to process, to recharge. It's like a gas tank, and when I give you my energy, I need time alone to recharge, but it doesn't mean I'm shy. And introverts tend to listen more deeply. We tend to speak when we are really seeking to understand or contribute. And they just don't agree. They actually try to change the direction or add to a conversation. My role models come in so many flavors. I think they are my children, teaching me to stay curious. I think there are other women in the world teaching me how to stay focused on family, life integration, and how I show up. I think my inspirations come from every employee I meet. My one advice for anyone pursuing HR is to keep the human in the middle of it. Realize that you touch not only your employees' lives, but their families. Just multiply what's in front of you by 5 and realize that you are humbled and honored to be a part of their journey. And if you can help that journey be more graceful, help them realize their potential, make them a better them by being part of their journey, that's success.